What I will say is like that game is going to look fucking unbelievable because both of those jerseys are 10 out of 10.
It's like a Civil War reenactment. That's what it's like. It's like you're a guy now and you're dressing up. Well, we've got jersey news, and we love ourselves some jersey developments. The Colorado Avalanche have unveiled a specialty jersey for their 30th anniversary that they will wear 7 times this season. It looks like this. It is a Quebec Nordiques jersey. They are going to wear the Nordiques jersey 7 times this season, starting Thursday against the Hurricanes when the Hurricanes... What? Oh, when the Hurricanes wear Whalers jerseys.
Yes.
Okay. Rivalry renewed. You see there Thursday, October 23rd at Ball Arena. First of all, we normally do like a, hey, what do we think of how these look? But they're just Nordiques jerseys. The big conversation is going to be a conversation that I'm tired of, even though I think I don't even ever have it, which is the wearing the stolen jersey.
Okay, so before we get into that, I do want to say these jerseys have the same collar as the New York Rangers jerseys that they just debuted, the Centennial ones, the gigantic baby bib looking white collar. It just does not translate from the old jersey style, it's like the V-neck style, to this for like whatever format jersey. It doesn't work.
I mean, it's really like, generally speaking, I don't have a problem with it in the way that DJ does, but that is clearly just a product of them having to fit that fucking shield in the
collar. And I don't have a
Correct.
problem with that collar the way that Pete does.
I do.
I do. I think it's too
my
thick.
problem is with the shield forcing them to have to do weird things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem. I think the collar is too thick. Like, you see the jersey over your shoulder, like, that's nice and thin. That's a solid collar on that Nordic jersey. But yeah, I mean, individual, like, I don't mind I like the shield. I think I actively like the shield being on the jerseys.
But the option is they could do, if you throw it back up, Sean, they could do the white collar and have the shield part of it. But it would be, that I think would be uglier, honestly, than doing a thick collar and then putting the shield below.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think they had an option.
Like, this is how like the Flames do it. This is how the Bruins do it. They do like the very, very thin one, rather than
that's not the
doing the
jersey.
thing that takes up the entirety right here.
I agree generally when
Yeah,
you're designing a jersey, but like, they are not designing a new jersey. They're copying a design.
No,
And
I
so,
know,
like-
but
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
closer-
a new version of, like, under this format. Like, the Bruins did a new version of their 80s jersey.
Yeah,
And
I mean, they could
change the collar so that it would look good. Like, you can easily do a new Nordiques jersey and just have this be white.
But
I don't know if
I'm
these
not
are
gonna-
new versions,
Yeah,
though. I
that's
feel
what
like
I'm
they're
saying.
trying to do as
Like
close to
replicas,
that
yeah.
jersey as possible. And
They just got-
I think that you're both right and you're both wrong. Like, I absolutely hear what Pete's saying, and I think it would look better if they did.
Oh,
that.
I agree. I
But
agree 100%. But
I
that's
think
clearly
that
not what they were trying to do.
You're right when you say if they're copying and pasting an Nordiques jersey onto the current jersey that is the current canvas that's given to them, it ends up looking like that. And it stinks, but it's, again, it's all because the NHL needs to have the stupid shield there. How do you feel about teams who relocated using the branding of the previous location?
It's bad behavior. Like, sometimes it gets a little overblown. I got annoyed by the Hurricanes and how often they went back to the Whalers. Well, and I still find it a little bit weird. I find it weird that, like, the Nordiques and Whalers are playing each other in like a full desecration bowl and a full, like, we're gonna piss on this grave and pretend. It feels like cosplaying.
Yes,
in a
that's
weird
my
way.
yes. I think it's ridiculous. You're being ridiculous, and if you want to be ridiculous, God bless. This is the show to do it. But you're being ridiculous, and everybody watching will observe that you're being silly. And if someone says, "Hey, did you go to the game last night? What'd you think?" You'd say it was kind of weird. They were dressed up like other teams.
It also, like, there should be one of those teams in any given game. There should not be two teams pretending like they're playing a game from the 80s. What I will say is, like, that game is going to look fucking unbelievable because both of those jerseys are 10 out of 10.
It's like a Civil War reenactment. That's what it's like. It's like you're a guy now and you're dressing up as something like, are they gonna, we've said this before on throwback nights, like, are they gonna smoke cigarettes?
Yeah, they should.
Are they gonna drink in the locker
I was
room?
gonna
Fans
say,
should have to wear suits.
they-
Players should be able to smoke cigarettes on the bench.
like treat this like the Winter Classic. Like I want to see Bednar in like a fucking fedora, and I want to do like I know that Nesson at one point this year they did like a throwback broadcast. Maybe it was last year.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do it, fucking lean in.
Right.
Like make it old timey. Make it like the worst score bug I've ever seen, and maybe like add some noise to the camera.
Oh, I'm totally down with that idea. Like make the entire aesthetic like it's a throwback game.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, because otherwise it does just feel like we're wearing costumes to the game today.
Have fewer concessions as well.
Yeah, make them really cheap and it's just peanuts and hot dogs.
Yeah.
I have no time for Quebec or Hartford fans that are upset. I don't care about your upsetness at all, in the slightest.
Why is that?
Because the jerseys are sick. And I am 27 years old, wasn't around for the Nordiques or the Whalers, have no emotional attachment to them. I want to see sick jerseys.
It just feels a little bit dirty for a team to take a team out of another city and then be like, but we're going to wear your clothes. Like it's like going to an estate sale after somebody's like dead and then like running into one of their family members and you're just head to toe in their dead family members' clothes and then acting like it's wrong for them to be upset about it.
I mean,
That's a bad example,
sell
though,
the clothes,
because if
though.
you did the estate sale, they sold you the clothes.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
fans did not sell the team. So I understand the
Okay,
fans
so
being like,
instead of an estate sale, the person died, you ransacked their house, took all their wardrobe, and then like ran into their family member and you were wearing all their clothes.
there you go. Not
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they're upset. I just personally do not care.
Sean, how would
Clubber's
you feel?
making a good
Yeah.
Different.
asking
Nope,
a
not
good
the same
question.
thing. Not the same thing.
Clubber's asking a
It
very
is not
valid
the same
question.
thing.
Would you support Utah
no.
wearing the Kachinas
There is a
jersey?
clear distinction there.
Why?
Because they took that they're different. Like technically speaking, they're different franchises. They don't have the rights to any of that stuff. The history of the Arizona Coyotes has been like capsuled and still exists to be picked up by another Arizona franchise later.
Well, what
is not the case
what
in
I'm
these two.
saying is that I think that like every team should hold, like it should be law that every team holds onto their branding even if they lose that team.
That's fine, but there is a paper technical difference in between Utah and
Okay, so remove the
moving
paper element of it all. Would it upset you if you saw the Utah Mammoth, wearing Coyotes jerseys if they just like in a year or two they decided to wear Coyotes jerseys for a day?
Which,
Well,
by the way, if
probably
you did
gonna happen.
Kachina with
that'd be fucking
mammoth
stupid.
colors,
No, it would suck.
oh no, it would
It
rock.
would suck. You need more. There's not enough colors. You need more. Like you need the black, green, brown. You need all of the colors that are in the Kachina.
We can
thing.
find a couple more colors.
I-
You're already stealing someone's jersey. They can do whatever they want.
I think it's hard for me to detach it from the circumstance. The Kachina, but like my point being, I want to see cool jerseys. The Kachinas were the best jerseys in hockey, so like it would be cool to see those in hockey again. But the reality is the reality, and you can't separate it from the context. Technically, it's different, and also like there is a little bit. I guess I don't know how Carolina and Colorado fans act, and I'm not saying Clubbers does this, but there are a lot of Utah fans that like to shit all over Arizona for no apparent reason. So I don't really like, it's a little different.
JKR Devil has a point of view that I hadn't really thought of or like heard about too much. Is like it's also insulting to the fans of the current team. It's like lusting after your ex.
Nah.
I don't know how many fans feel that way. Like I know Carolina Hurricanes fans love when they wear
I was
the
gonna
Whalers
say
jersey,
that's much more of like
as they should, because like their team constantly changes their uniforms every damn day, and they still have yet to find as good a uniform as the one that they took from Hartford.
I think wearing it's more of like a Mr. Steal Your Girl type thing. It's like don't you wish you still had this? I'm wearing the cool jersey now. Because like Canes fans, they don't. Why wouldn't you be happy that you're wearing a cool jersey?
Okay, Pete is out on this for ethical reasons. I'm out on this for just it being a little too silly, even for my liking. Adding to the silliness of this all, Sean, could you post what the Colorado Avalanche accompanied this announcement with? That's right, folks. the Colorado Avalanche did a jersey explainer graphic for a jersey that has been around for 4,000 years. If you're listening,
this is why they should have a new collar.
They are pointing to the igloo logo and explaining what that is. They're explaining things about Quebec, about provinces. They're explaining things about Quebec history and culture. It doesn't make you look any better when you explain that none of this shit has to do with the Colorado Avalanche.
That part's very funny to me.
But also at the same time, hockey is for everyone, including new fans who might not know this shit. But you can look that up on the internet.
But I mean, jersey explainers, we are famously out on jersey explainers. But it gets a little extreme when you're doing a jersey explainer for a jersey that was around forever. Although, in fairness, when the Nordiques first unveiled that jersey, we didn't have jersey explainers.
That's true.
Yeah,
this is the first time that jersey's ever been explained. Colorado Avalanche, thank you very much.
Our issues with jersey, our shared problem with jersey explainers has started to deviate. Because my problem with jersey explainers is when you clearly are coming up with reasonings for a cool design thing. Like, the problem with this one is just that this jersey's been around. But if this had been a new jersey, I wouldn't have any problem with this jersey explainer because there are actual, like, they're explaining actual, like, purposeful decisions, not just being like, this was cool and now we need to explain why.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this jersey explainer. I think it's a new brand of jersey explainer. It is less like, oh God, it's less eye-rolly. It's just more ridiculous.
I have a problem with it just because it's like, no shit. It's like, yeah, the Florida Lily, or however you say it, like, that's a French thing.
Okay.
I'll tell you what,
Brandon 53 is, I'm on Brandon 53's side. This might be an unpopular take. I think that the Colorado Avalanche's logo is better than the Nordiques logo.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
The
Avs
jersey,
logo is very good.
I think, like,
the
dare I
uniform
say,
of the Nordiques is way cooler than the Avs, but the Avs have a cooler logo.
dare I say, I don't like using these words, and I've sat on this because no one wants to hear it. I think the Nordiques jersey is like 1% overrated. It's awesome.
I think that's fair.
It's awesome. But, like, I don't think you need to pull out all these stops and upset all these people over the Nordiques jersey. Like, you could still put him in the NHL shop. We'll still buy him. It's a throwback. That's fun. But you're doing all this shit and you're starting like 19-minute conversations that we've had about this over the Nordiques jersey. Really, Avalanche? What you normally wear, as Pete said, is better. I agree with you, Pete.
Yeah. Okay.
They just more teams need to do like interesting shit. Like the fact that they have the flowers along the bottom, that's a nice touch. Otherwise, yeah, I'd agree that it might be a slight.
I'll tell you what. While we're on the topic of these jersey explainers and this genre of jersey explainer, I would accept this jersey explainer for every uniform. There are two things explained, and it's the shit that's on the jersey.
The two things.
What's that in the middle? What's that along the bottom? Oh, this is that. This is that.
It's a very useful and succinct jersey explainer.
If the Bruins put out a jersey explainer when they did their rebrand and they were like, that's the B. It's got spokes on it. We call it the spoked B. It's if you ever hear spoked B and you're wondering what's that, those little lines are spokes, like on a bicycle. Right. And the B stands for Boston, not bicycle. Understand the confusion. As for the stripes, it's just to kind of break up the jersey a little bit. End of the thing. End of the explanation. There's holes on the bottom. That's how you pull it down over your head so you can get in there.
Let the jersey breathe a little bit.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to What Chaos here on YouTube. You will get everything. Daily episodes, player interviews, and so much more. It's all here on the What Chaos YouTube. Hit subscribe.
I can't believe that this team is so bad that they're making me feel bad for Lindy Ruff, the guy that I didn't even want to get that job.
Should we talk about, let's spin the wheel.
Buddy, it's time. We know what time it is. We know what time it is.
Buffalo Bills are going to the Super Bowl.
No.
Josh Allen's going to win the MVP.
Oh,
that's Buffalo sports talk.
If you're just listening, the wheel landed on the Buffalo Sabres. So say something about the Buffalo Sabres per last year's end of show rules. Okay, their winless streak winless streak, wink, 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 reaches 10 games, 0-7-3 with their loss to the Leafs last night. They have the second worst record in the Eastern Conference. The only team worse than them is the Montreal Canadiens, the very Montreal Canadiens team that they will play tomorrow in Montreal. And I've been doing a little schedule peeping, and let me tell you, after they play Montreal, 2 days between their next game, which will be at home on Friday.
And I believe Wednesday is already a scheduled day off.
So we're on change time schedule pocket watch, and they've got a good opportunity if they want to do some changes and make some changes. There's a part in their schedule where they can. Do we think they're there yet? Because Terry Pegula, although apparently this has already been the plan, is going to be at the game with the team in Montreal tomorrow.
Currently, or this morning, met with the entire hockey ops staff, not just Adams and Ruff, the entire hockey ops staff.
I think it's all very appropriate. They should be meeting with that team, and everything should be on the table. I really believe that everything should be on the table.
Sean, do you have Lindy Ruff after their 5-3 loss to the Leafs yesterday?
How shocking is this team with some of the guys in there?
I'm almost lost for words, obviously. It's on me to solve this. This is the toughest solve I've been around, but it is on me to get these guys in the right place to win a hockey game, and nobody else, just me. Thanks.
I got to give credit to Mike Harrington, because
Always.
Mike Harrington asked that question, and the only person in Buffalo that is winning this season, I think, is Mike Harrington, because he has been at the center of like all of this shit sucks so bad, and he's been nailing it as a person who is covering that team. I think he's nailing it. So
I mean, you said that Lauren McDavid is built to be a WAG/president the way that Connor McDavid is built to be an NHL superstar. Mike Harrington is built to be covering this Sabres team. He is deeply experienced with covering the Buffalo Sabres. He is deeply experienced with seeing bad versions of the Buffalo Sabres. He can pick apart with incredible precision which type of bad Buffalo Sabres team this is. Is this they maybe bit off a little more than they could chew? They went a little too tough. Are they a little too soft? Are they too young? Nobody can clock the badness of the Buffalo Sabres like the great, often pissing people off Mike Harrington. He was built for this moment, and you are right, Peter. He is absolutely killing it. You said that he is winning. Is there a sympathetic figure here? Because I wonder if we just heard from him.
So that was like my first initial response is like, I can't believe that this team is so bad that they're making me feel bad for Lindy Ruff, the guy that I didn't even want to get that job in the first place.
Same here.
It's crazy that they're such assholes that they're making me feel bad for Lindy Ruff in year one. But I also think that there is a portion of it that does fall at Lindy Ruff's feet, because he's not getting the best out of this group. And everybody knew that this team needed a coach that was going to show up and drag the best out of a group that is exactly what they are right now. Like, they've been this, and that's why none of this is cool or funny. And I'm so fucking sick of it, because this team is just exactly what they've been for years, which is a lot of talent. They don't show up. They don't play. They get out to like good leads and they blow it every fucking time. It's the same story over and over and over again. And there's such an element of apathy across the board in that organization, and it pisses me off so much.
Yeah, I just you touched on the thing that bothers me the most about this losing streak is the fact that I meant to go back and look exactly how many games it was, but it feels like they've had a lead in every single game of this losing streak, and that's they've shown over and over again that they can be the best team on the ice for stretches at a time, just not for a full 60 minutes. And that's the thing that drives me the most crazy. It's not like this team is just a bad roster getting blown out all the time. They have good players that have shown that they can be good at varying points, maybe with the exception of like a Devin Levi, who
can I say I don't know that the Blues roster is much better than the Sabres roster, if at all.
I would say it is on paper significantly worse.
There are examples of teams who are hanging in and doing okay, which is what I would say. I'd say the Blues are okay. They are hanging in and doing okay with not a better roster, with not more talent. And I guess kind of Harrington could probably clock this better than me, but this is a talented and unproductive team, which has been the story for the Sabres at multiple points during this 14-year absence from the playoffs. How many years are they on now?
I've lost count.
11.
I honestly
200
off the top of my head. I think it's 11. Yeah, because 2013 I believe was the last year that they were there.
Maybe I just know that it's going to be 14 or something.
Probably.
But they don't have the worst roster in the league. They don't have the second worst roster in the Eastern Conference.
No, there's just poison in the water. Like there's poison in the water there, and gotta get a new water filter. I don't know what the water filter looks like, or where it belongs, but like whether it's a guy above Kevin Adams, whether it's a replacement for Kevin Adams, whether it's I don't think a new coach is gonna like save them, because you've seen that this is. I don't love Lindy Ruff as a coach, and I don't think that he was going to be the solution to that problem. But the fact that this now has existed with multiple head coaches and nothing is seeming to change, I just feel like it's a roster. It's a roster problem. Like you gotta have guys who are gonna hold the guys that they share the locker room with accountable.
Yeah, this is gonna sound weird. There's a part of me that almost feels bad for Kevin Adams, because I just feel like I don't really.
I do not.
But like, there's part of me, and I think it's something that they talked about a little bit, that we've talked about. I think that Marek and Wyshynski talked about. Like, I don't think was like qualified for this job, and he got put there, and now he just does not have the resources to like succeed at all, and he's not handling it well. Like, he's very bad at his job. Clearly, should not have it. But it's just like, Jesus Christ, like. He was not prepared for this, and now I don't know what he's supposed to do with it. My biggest thing is like, I'm just interested to see what comes out of this meeting. I'm interested to see if anyone does end up losing their job. I'm curious at what point Terry Pagula realized that they were actually sucking, because I do not think it was before this losing streak, and I think it was probably several games into the losing streak, because they said like the exact thing was that this meeting was not a direct product of them losing 10 straight games.
Yeah, it was like
announced
supposed to be going winter
meetings,
yeah,
which was last week.
Which, by the way,
like they were still.
By the way, winter meetings. They don't call them the fall meetings.
Point Pete.
Y'all silly like the mayor.
If the Carolina Hurricanes win this series and advance to the Stanley Cup, can the fans make a promise to me and to us to stop playing the victim card
they
so much?
Not possible.
Please.
Nope.
Conference finals begin tonight, and I want to give you a little rundown on everything. Like, this would check the box of in the YouTube space. They say do things that will interest your own people, but also get new people.
CCN, core casual new.
Core casual new. As Bauer people,
that was dangerously close.
And
CCN is as far as we can go.
So a Fox News guy is very close to CNN.
A
a
lot of things.
Two worst nightmares.
Yes, a lot of things that Pete doesn't like. So let's run through the teams that are there and what this round might have in store for them. Let's begin with the Dallas Stars, because we are a Western Conference show. If you want to hear two people prattle on about the Western Conference without any commercial breaks, you want What Chaos. That is from Mike Felger.
Back to like the OG. That was like one of the first shows I feel like we did where we talked about like Western Conference versus Eastern Conference.
West is so much better.
Yeah.
It's so much better.
But now we've reached the point of the playoffs where it's all at the same time. Again, like an 8 o'clock, you don't have to stay up late to watch it.
And you have to think about them in relation to each other too, because like the winners of those series are going to meet each other in the Stanley Cup final.
Yes. So Dallas Stars, there are headlines with players, but I think the honest biggest headline, especially if you don't watch these teams all the time. Dallas Stars are the rare team that is in the conference finals who has allowed more goals than they have scored this postseason. The Dallas Stars have a -4 goal differential this postseason, yet here they are. And why, you ask? Because at the deadline, they were very fortunate to acquire Mikko Rantanen, who leads the postseason with 19 points because the Dallas Stars have played more games than anybody. Do you know who leads the postseason in points per game?
No.
It's not a...
His name's Connor.
Of teams remaining, yes.
Connor Brown?
No.
That's you might guess Connor Brown.
That's exactly what I did.
But it's Connor McDavid.
Yep.
Okay.
And I would say that there's 3 guys that are very important right now. Jake Ottinger, their goalie, who has been very good through 2 rounds. Roope Hintz, who plays on a line with Mikko Rantanen and Mikael Granlund, been very good as well. And like their opponent, the Edmonton Oilers, a fun thing with the Dallas Stars is that you could argue they're only getting stronger. How do you summarize the Dallas Stars?
You said 3 names. You only named 2, right? Or Rantanen.
I said Jake Ottinger, Roope Hintz. Oh, yeah, and Rantanen was the one that was kind of given.
Well, I would say that is a complete erasure of Miro Heiskanen, who is
Well,
back.
that's what I said with they're only getting stronger.
Right, but I mean that's a big name to throw out, and I Dallas is a team that is probably lucky to be here, which is wild to say. But like we haven't seen the best of the Dallas Stars yet. And you mentioned the goal differential. That's a pretty stunning fact, but also there's reason to think that it makes sense because they haven't gotten their full depth going. They haven't gotten a lot of the scoring depth that we've come to expect from Dallas. And they're the one remaining team that has the biggest on-off switch.
Yes.
Where like they could get blown out 6-0 in any game, but you have faith that they will respond and come back strong the next game and be totally fine.
Yes, I would say that the Dallas Stars have gotten here with smoke and mirrors, and once the smoke clears and you remove the mirror, you could see that there's just like a bunch of guns there, and you're like, oh, so they can
Dangerous.
just get those guns and just like shoot with them, right? So that's the tough thing that I have with the Stars because I will maintain to this point, I think that we are overrating the job that the Dallas Stars have done, but they should still be feared because at some point, the smoke and mirrors is going to stop. And then there's such a long list of guys who could come alive. Their opponent, the Edmonton Oilers, they've got the reigning Conn Smythe winner in Connor McDavid, and they've got a Hart Trophy favorite in Leon Draisaitl. They began the postseason with 2 horrifying losses, changed their starting goaltender, and have won 8 of 9 games. They have not allowed a goal in 10 days. They have really become just this rush-stopping machine and have surprised me in how much they've been able to kind of alter their identity. I know that their star offensive players have been upset to be asked about them shifting to being such a good defensive team. I'll note, they've shifted to being a great defensive team, but they're still winning the games because everyone on their team is scoring.
Yeah. They have probably the most dynamic forward group remaining left in the playoffs. And that we've seen that throughout these playoffs. Like they're getting by not as a 2-man team with McDavid and Draisaitl. Of course, those 2 guys are certainly helping, but they are getting contributions up and down the lineup, which has been great. Where I have my concerns with Edmonton, as always, is kind of on the back end, which I do not think that they have the defensive edge, at least on the blue line in this series. And I definitely do not have faith that they have the edge in goaltending, which Stu Skinner versus Jake Ottinger. Stuart Skinner was the better goaltender last year in the Western Conference Final. Nobody should be confident that that'll happen again.
I agree. I think that I think nobody should be confident, but also nobody should be or will be surprised.
Nobody
if
should
it
erase the
happens.
possibility.
Yes. If it happens, we'll just be like, this is what happens, this is what he does, and this is what he does. But yes, I think that you go into this saying that the edge is definitely in favor of the Stars goaltending wise, not overall wise. What do you make of this series and how these teams match up against each other? Because my big one is, and Chris Knobloch talked about this, they just had a series, the Oilers, albeit a quick one, of them playing a very good rush team and saying, like, you don't get to do any of the shit that you want to do. They're now going up against a weaker version of that based on how the Stars are playing right now. So it should stand to reason.
Weaker than Vegas?
Yeah, based on like who was going. Yeah.
I mean, Vegas didn't get a single goal from their top 5 scorers. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like
they shut
took
them down.
those guys away.
Yeah, but I have a lot more faith in Dallas's bottom 6 versus Vegas's bottom 6.
I think that's fair. It gets confusing because you're like, do you base it on overall as people and as players? Because at that point, like, Wyatt Johnston's in the bottom 6 for Dallas.
Right.
Like, that's unbelievable. But Wyatt Johnston's not doing anything. So what is he going to do when he goes up against the team that the way they're playing shouldn't have much of a problem taking him away, which is famous last words.
Vegas was also without Pavel Dorofeev, who was one of their better scorers. Like, I think there's reason to believe that Dallas stands a better chance of making more noise offensively than Vegas did against Edmonton.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, and I've said this before, if both teams play the way that they've been playing, I think that
I would agree. Like,
this is a 5 or 6 game Edmonton win. I think that this is the playoffs, and we've watched too many postseasons to know that in 3 days we're going to be talking about a player that we haven't even mentioned.
Right.
And we're going to be saying, like, what now that Johnson's dominating, do they have to now put Draisaitl against him instead or something? Like, this is just going to happen. Jason Robertson's going to start doing stuff. And Tyler Seguin is going to go off. Like, something is going to change, or Connor Brown is going to stop scoring.
Things always change. And, like, to that point, the Dallas Stars are one of the worst teams in the league heading into the playoffs for the last, like, 3-4 weeks of the season.
Yes.
So, like, things change very quickly. So it's hard to be like, based off of the way that things have been going to this point, at some point you at least have to lightly push a reset button.
This is also the closest series in terms of there is not a favorite. It's a pick'em per betting odds. I am going to, and I can't believe this because I've been very cautious as an Oilers fan throughout this postseason, but I think the Oilers win this series. I'm happy to do Jim Calhoun, I fucked up, I was wrong, what do you want me to say sort of thing. I'll do that when the time comes, but I favor the Oilers for the reason of they're way deeper in terms of who's actually doing like the Oilers right now don't have a player they have to worry about outside of their goalie, who is coming off of back-to-back shutouts and just stymied this team a postseason ago, and they're getting their number one defenseman back during the series. So I think it's probably going to be a close series, and I won't be surprised if it goes either way. I think the biggest surprise to me would be if Dallas just like walked Edmonton, but anything can happen.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Where do you go?
I'm like, logically, I want to say Dallas, but I just can't shake what Edmonton's been able to do to this point in terms of adjusting their game based off of what's in front of them. Like their ability to be a lockdown defensive team when they need to be, when things look a little shaky, or turn it into a track meet. Like they can win both ways. It's, to me, like the big X factor. If Stu isn't good, he's going to lose them this series.
Yeah, but Jack Michaels said something with us yesterday that I was thinking about the rest of the day, which is outside of injury, Stu's not coming out like until Pickard's healthy. Like, and even once Pickard's healthy, Stu would need to be playing poorly to lose the job. So as long as Calvin Pickard is out, The net is Stu's no matter what. And that to me, honestly, brings me more confidence than it brings me fear. And I'm trying to figure out why I feel that way. Like, there's not Rodrigue just is not coming in. So the job is yours. If you play poorly tonight, you're playing again tomorrow. So this thing of like, oh God, what are we going to do? Like this surge just won't stop. That's probably not going to happen.
And if you know you're getting the entire series, you do have to acknowledge that Stu Skinner historically gets better as series go along.
Right. So there might be I think Jack was saying something that suggested he thought Dallas will probably come out and win game 1, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And if Dallas takes both of the home games, then obviously I worry a little bit, but that's not what it's looked like so far for this team. Like they lost the first 2 games of the first round, but there were harmonicas and there was just all sorts of asshole stuff. They would need to really flip an off switch to get to what they were when they were losing.
Yeah.
Although I'll still say overall, like, this is the best opponent that they're facing. I think that Vegas is better than what Dallas just faced against the Jets. So if you want to do some transitive property shit there, you can if you want. But I think that this is the hardest series that Edmonton's going to play. So
definitely.
Buckle up. Let's go to the Eastern Conference where
Before you do that, I got to run in my baby bladder. I got to pee my pants. Bye.
Okay.
Set that up.
Yes. Where the Carolina Hurricanes are once again back in the conference final against Florida Panthers. And I said earlier in the show, the Hurricanes always make mid-sized playoff runs. They make like medium-long runs, 5 straight years of getting out of the first round. Nothing to sneeze at. Second time in the last 3 years that they are in the conference final. This is an interesting team because this was supposed to be a pivot year. People talking about whether or not Pete peed on his pants or
no, they came like this. They're calico cut.
I didn't pee on my pants.
It's got nothing to do with
support.
this. Yeah, you got to give.
You got to
Wolves
give.
watching. No pee. No pee.
No.
Clean stuff.
It's got nothing. Yeah, he knows that he didn't pay that wrestler to do that video. He did it because they're friends. They went to high school together. They lost their virginity the same night. Okay. Hurricanes were supposed to be in something of a transitional year. They lost Brett Pesce in the offseason. They had traded for Jake Gensel last year, and he was great for them, but he left for the Lightning in free agency, and this was supposed to be something of a transition, but no, they got off to a good start, so they said, fuck it, we're trading for Mikko Rantanen. They trade for Mikko Rantanen. They trade one of their best young players, Martin Necas, for him, and Rantanen doesn't really do anything for the Hurricanes, doesn't want to stay, so they flip him for Logan Stankoven, and now somehow Logan Stankoven is on the Carolina Hurricanes. It wasn't all the moves they made. They also traded for Taylor Hall, who has been kind of really good for them, and they extended Taylor Hall, and now here they are once again with the best goaltender in the playoffs, we should note, Freddie Anderson, and they're back in the conference final.
I think that this is the best version of the Hurricanes that we've seen.
This is definitely my favorite Hurricanes team.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like last year, they had Gensel, and Gensel was going for them, and like it felt like maybe that was the best version, but it feels like this is the most optimized version in a way. And like they have the goaltending, and Svechnikov has been the top tier, top echelon scorer that we've been waiting for the Hurricanes to have. So maybe we're in the midst of his pop year, but really I think it's the goaltending, because they look exactly what you would expect them to look like, but they also have the best goaltending in the playoffs so far. And that has made the difference.
The Hurricanes have been accused of being boring, both endearingly and derogatorily, and that's been kind of their identity. But we've said on the show, they're not boring. They've had some uninteresting series. They played the Devils, who we all knew weren't going anywhere. So we were just like, win that series. It would be a shame if we have to keep seeing the Devils respectfully, because everyone on that team was hurt. But happy for the Hurricanes. Glad that they are where they are. They play the Florida Panthers, the reigning Stanley Cup champions. A team of assholes, and their lead asshole is Matthew Tkachuk. Although you could really say that Sam Bennett might be their lead asshole because he keeps injuring people.
They have an entire stable of lead assholes.
They've got premium assholes, and their lead asshole Maybe. Matthew Tkachuk got hurt at Four Nations, which gave them the financial flexibility to go out and add some players, and boy, did they. They got Seth Jones from the Blackhawks, who has been playing like 26 minutes a night for them. Awesome. Replaced Brandon Montour, who they lost last summer in free agency, and also Brad Marchand, the great Brad Marchand, who kind of pioneered what the Florida Panthers do. They're led by head coach Paul Maurice, Johnny the Joke Man, and they got Sergei Bobrovsky back there, who once upon a time, not too long ago, we thought had lost his job, and now he's just always in the postseason and leading these long runs. The teams met 2 years ago in the conference final. Panthers swept them, and Hurricanes head coach Rod Brindamore clarified, no, I didn't. Wasn't a real sweep. The games were close. You don't get to say it's a sweep. What do you think happens in this series?
So here's where I'm a little scared that something might happen to the Panthers. And I think the Panthers should be favored in this series. But here's where something might happen. This is the second straight series where the Panthers have faced a team that is under a show-me mandate. The Maple Leafs were absolutely under a show-me mandate. Show me what you got. And in the beginning of their series, they did. They went out and they got a 2-0 series lead, really, really strong against the Panthers. The Panthers punched back and they responded, and the Leafs folded. The Hurricanes are also under a show-me mandate. Because, like you said, mid-sized playoff runs. They have an opportunity to change the narrative around the Hurricanes with this playoff series. And as Don Draper once said, if you don't like what's being said, change the conversation. Something like that. I think I may have gotten that 100% right, but who knows? The Hurricanes have an opportunity here to change the conversation around them and take that next step. And as we said with Mike Ryan earlier, like, you don't start talking about players and teams until they show it to you, like in the way that, like, we never would have talked about the Panthers like this 2 years ago, but then they showed us. So I'm not writing off the Hurricanes, especially with the goaltending now. I will still say at the end of the day, like, I think that the Panthers have more talent top to bottom, and they play a similar style to the Hurricanes. And I think that they can beat the Hurricanes at their own game.
I love the Hurricanes. I think the Panthers are going to win this series because the Panthers are unbelievable. Their roster is unbelievable. Star players throughout, but not just star players, the type of player that you think, that's a guy that you want. That's a guy you go into the trenches with. And they've done it. I think that at some point they're going to run out of gas. And I don't know if that's going to be this round. I don't even know if that's going to be this year. Maybe they go back and they win the cup again. But I think the Panthers are so deep, and they are being propelled by their third line. And that's okay. We talk about the Stars derogatorily having a first line, and that's it. You talk about the Panthers, their third line is doing all the fucking for them.
Yeah.
But they're doing that while the guys who aren't going, like Matthew Tkachuk, still bringing a lot to the table just by being Matthew Tkachuk, not scoring a million goals. But people will forget this. Matthew Tkachuk didn't score a lot as that postseason went on last year. Mm-hmm. He's just more motor, and clearly he's hurt. That's fine. I think that the Panthers win this series, and I haven't really thought about it too much, but I just think that we see a Stanley Cup final rematch.
I think that's a significant possibility. I will say for the Panthers, they can't open the door like they did for the Leafs in the last round.
Yes.
I think the Canes have a better punishment potential than the Leafs do.
Better head on their shoulders too, yes. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, oh man. I should note that this is a series that does have a favorite, and it is the Panthers, and you can understand why. But I'm trying to think of who I want to win this series. I think I want personally, I want Brad Marchand to win another Stanley Cup. And I think that that's my strongest feeling. I fear the Panthers as an Oilers fan, but I fear the Hurricanes as an Oilers fan. I'd be happy for both teams. That sounds so lame, but I think the most fun story would be Hurricanes getting there.
I want Taylor Hall to win.
Oh, yeah, man.
Here's what I'll say. If if the Carolina Hurricanes win this series and advance to the Stanley Cup, can the fans make a promise to me and to us to stop playing the victim card
they can't.
so much?
Not possible.
Please.
Nope.
Like, Hurricanes fans have like this wild persecution complex that's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point.
Oh,
where
yeah,
it's like,
I agree.
it is. I feel like the Hurricanes haven't been widely disrespected in a while. And I'm sure they'll see it differently because they're closer to it. They're more emotional about it. But like, everybody acknowledges the Hurricanes as one, or acknowledges Carolina one as like a really good hockey market. It's in the South. It's in a non-traditional hockey market. But I think everybody who knows ball knows that place gets banged out and that town goes crazy for the Canes. Nobody questioning that. But like, number two, they've been a good competitive team for years and years and years at this point. And yeah, the conversation has been they can't get over the hump, but that's because they can't get over the hump. That's based in fact.
Yeah. And they've been disrespected, but not by any outside forces. You could be mad at Mikko Rantanen. Like, he disrespected you. He didn't want to be there. That's fine.
You could be wrong about
Don't take it out on society.
You can be wrong about. I mean, you could be angry about like the wrong narrative that's like attached to Jake Gensel. Where you're like, oh, Jake Gensel didn't want to play in Carolina. I don't know if that was true. I think Jake Gensel said he wanted to stay in Carolina. It's just Tampa made a better offer.
Yeah,
like I can understand being mad about that, but it's more just the like nobody gives us any credit sort of deal. I don't think that part of it is true.
Who are you picking in the series?
Florida.
That's the end of that social clip.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as it was happening, I was like, "That's a clip." I'm telling you right now, they don't have that in them. They are very much, cover your ears, Katie, like the Denver Nuggets or like Denver fan base, where when they win, their parade is going to be "fuck you, I told you so." Not "I'm excited that we won." More, "I'm glad that we silenced the haters."
It's a lot of like, as soon as they win, the first reaction is let's run to Twitter and pick a fight and be like, I fucking told you, and like celebrate the win.
That's
be happy about the win.
That's why I can't fucking stand Denver Nuggets fans. That's exactly what they did after they won the finals.
Y'all silly like the mayor.
Bad times for the Boston Bruins. You're officially out on them. Haven't missed the playoffs.
I'm not out on them. I'm not quitting on them.
You said you don't like the team, or
I'm not having a good time.
How do you feel about the Bruins blowing a 2-goal lead with Ottawa's goalie pulled, losing in a shootout? They're out of the playoffs by points. They're on pace to be the 4th wild card and miss the playoffs. That game, Saturday afternoon, felt like a new low, whatever you want to call it.
It was a really entertaining game. It was a horrible loss for the Bruins. Horrible loss. You cannot give up those points. And they had so many chances to ice that game at the end. They give up 2 empty net goals or goalie pulled goals with the extra skater for Ottawa. You just can't give Ottawa those points. You are locked in a playoff battle with Ottawa. And it brings me, my ultimate feeling at the end of that game was, and this is bad fan behavior, I guess, I don't want the Bruins to make the playoffs. I just don't. I don't want. I don't think they're going to be able to be capable of making noise. I don't think that they're going to be any fun to watch. Like, they're going to be the Capitals of last year. If they get into the playoffs, they're going to get smoked in the first round by a higher seed, and it's not going to be fun for anybody. And it's going to allow the front office to kind of skate by with, well, hey, at least we got in. We got that gate revenue. The Jacobs are happy about it. We get to keep our jobs for another year. I don't want that. I really don't. And there's a chance that maybe down the stretch, they show something, they give me a spark, and I change my mind. It's quite possible. But as of right now, I'm not actively rooting against the Bruins, but I don't hope. I really am not pushing for them to get into a playoff spot, especially with other fun teams on the bubble. And I'm looking at the goddamn, this is horrible fan behavior. I love the Montreal Canadiens. They are so much fun. I want the Canadians to get in. I really do.
I'm okay with all that. I think that, playing devil's advocate, they have the roster that if they do get hot and you enter the playoffs and Pasternak is healthy in scoring, Marchand is healthy in scoring, and Lindholm is performing better, Zadorov looks like a solid second pairing defenseman.
Swayman at his best.
Swayman, Swayman, I think of like not quite automatic, but like if he gets the playoffs, Swayman is going to be good, even if he's not going to be what he was at the beginning of the season, which was quite bad. If you have both Lindholms healthy, and now I'm talking specifically about Hampus Lindholm, they'd have a good top 4. They'd have a good enough top 6. They wouldn't have depth. I don't think that they're going to make any noise, but I won't totally bail on my thought from the offseason when they made these changes, which is they could be a little better positioned as a postseason team than they'd be as a regular season team. I've said before, I thought they were going to be worse in the regular season. I didn't think they were going to become bad in the regular season, which is what they've become. So I don't think they deserve to make the playoffs. I, too, would rather see more fun teams get the experience. And I don't know, this sounds crazy. Like, I don't think it's automatic that the Blue Jackets or Canadians would lose in the first round.
I don't think so either. Like, I think that those teams, both of them, are at least a year or two away from like real noise. But they can be disruptors in the first round. I think that those two teams, especially the Canadians, like if they head into the playoffs with a head of steam, they've got enough depth. They've got enough vibes behind them. They've got guys who are, in the early stages of their development, and whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing with playoff experience, having their first taste of it, that's up for debate. But they're at least going to be a more fun product to watch. And you're going to get like atmospheres that hungry fan bases for playoff hockey, whether it's Columbus, whether it's Detroit, whether it's Montreal, whether it's Ottawa. It's going to be like, I would be excited for those atmospheres as well as the teams.
Here's the take. Sean, you don't like the Boston Bruins, right?
No.
You want nothing but bad things to happen to them, except with people you like Nikita Zadorov and Jeremy Swayman.
Generally speaking. There's exceptions, but generally speaking.
You should want them to make the playoffs.
Why?
You want them to remain toiled in whatever they are right now. And the most guaranteed way to stay this way, which is drafting poorly and just using Band-Aids and hoping, okay, we'll just kick the can down the road again and again and again and again, is by keeping this group, keeping the mindset that Don Sweeney and Cam Neely have. If they miss the playoffs, you will probably see change. And then a new GM is coming in with a good goalie, with a good number 1 defenseman, with some pieces, cap going up, cap space, could maybe do a little something. I trust replacement level GM way more than I trust Don Sweeney. I'd rather roll those dice. If you want them to be a mushy middle team, Sean, you should want them to make the playoffs because they'll stay that way.
My only thing there is that like I don't think them getting to the first round and getting embarrassed is going to ultimately change much. So like between that and them missing the playoffs entirely, so I don't really care as much as far as that's concerned. My one concern is that the first round, there's a good chance that is the Montreal or the Toronto Maple Leafs, and until the Toronto Maple Leafs prove to me that they're not the Toronto Maple Leafs, they could be assholes and lose that first round to the Boston Bruins. In which case, that might be the most ideal scenario because the Bruins win that series, then they lose the next round, and then they change nothing, and they're still stuck in mediocrity. But I feel like if they get to the playoffs and get swept or lose in 5 games in the first round, they're going to make the same changes they would make even if they miss the playoffs.
And honestly, if they win a round, that not only is a stay of execution, that might like buy time.
I think that
might mean like, hey, even if they miss the playoffs next year, maybe they earned another year.
And that might, I wonder what that means for Sacco for the future. Like if that forces them, and not force them, but pushes them to make him full-time permanently. I think that's an ideal situation.
He'd be in a tough spot if you like don't think he's the guy, but he wins you a playoff series.
I think that might be a most ideal situation, especially because it's the Maple Leafs. If they can embarrass the Maple Leafs in the process of sticking themselves in mediocrity for the immediate future, perfect.
Okay, well,
as a fan, like the ultimate, I should not want that
for the bigger picture of things.
But beating
I'll
the
still
Leafs,
take it.
beating the Leafs in the playoff series,
the Leafs in the first round.
Yeah.
I'm never going to turn it
So
down.
that's why one thing about exceptions, where like I don't want the Bruins to do well unless it's against the Maple Leafs or the Senators, in which case I'll take it.
Okay, well, on Joe Sacco, after the game, it was noted in his post-game presser that he did not play Brad Marchand in the 3-on-3 overtime. Here's him being asked about it after the game.
I don't think we saw Marshy in the overtime. Was he hurting or
No, he wasn't hurt. No.
Just a coach's decision there?
Yeah.
Okay, coach's decision. Marchand he was a -1 in the game. He had one shot on goal. Not great. He, I believe, had a double minor for getting all tied up with Nick Cousins, which I gotta tell you, that's just gonna happen. Not his best game, but trying to read into it, you're you're benching Brad Marchand in 3-on-3. I don't know if that says something bad about Joe Sacco's coaching style, but it definitely says something about disharmony, right?
Yeah. And I mean, you've got more problems than just Brad Marchand.
Right. And if you're going to lose, you have to go down losing with those guys.
Especially when you've given up 2 6-on-5 goals.
Yeah, true. Like, play your good defensive players.
Yeah.
Have out there somebody who probably is not going to allow a goal. Yeah, something's weird there. And I think that Joe Sacco has to be careful with which levers he pulls, because chances are he's not going to be back. I don't think he's going to be fired midseason. Although Elliot speculated, like, if there's a guy that they would want to drop in right now, why not do it anyway? I would just say, unless there's something going on, and I'm talking like Rich Keefe levels of reporting there, I would leave Marchand out of it. I would leave the captain out of it, because although he is in a walk year and you'd think they wouldn't sell, if I were the head coach of the Bruins right now, if I were an interim head coach, I would assume Brad Marchand's going to be there longer than I'm going to be there. So I would just maybe leave the captain out of it.
And it's like your team at points, many points this season, have played like assholes, been assholes. And like, maybe you think Brad Marchand's part of that problem, but he has to be part of the solution as well.
Right. You just don't have enough guys.
Yeah.
If there's like hey, well, this third liner can end up being a first liner, you just don't have those guys. You're already asking a lot of the Morgan Geekies of the world. It's bad times for the Boston Bruins. You're officially out on them. Haven't missed the playoffs.
I'm not out on them. I'm not quitting on them.
You said you don't like the team, or
I'm not having a good time.
Okay.
But I'm not out on them. I'm still ride or die.
We all silly like the mayor.
He represents a type of player that is, I don't want to completely say a dying breed, but like the obnoxious, physical, can score a bunch of goals, is going to get in your head type of thing. Like, I get it, man. We're famously a big video game podcast. Johnny, do you play anything? Do you game?
I used to. Used to be, obviously NHL, NBA 2K. Those are my games, but I haven't had Xbox in like 3 years, so I haven't really been playing much.
I'm not a video game head. We're watching. I did not watch this season of The Last of Us, but my girlfriend has decided to. She doesn't like scary stuff, but she was like, "Could I do The Last of Us?" I was like, "Yeah, you go watch that. It's not very scary.
More of like emotionally wrecking than it is.
Exactly right. Like you just see like a child die every episode. That's all. So we do that, but I haven't played any video games in a million years. But we have a cover athlete for NHL 26, and his name is Matthew Tkachuk. EA Sports announcing that he will be the 2-time Stanley Cup champion, the cover athlete for NHL 26. And
we have an update on this.
Oh,
yeah.
He will be the cover athlete on the standard version of the video game. Do you remember what I said to you about the cover immediately before the show started?
This show?
Yes. Who should have also been on the cover?
Brady Tkachuk.
Brady Tkachuk. You know who I didn't mention is their father, Keith Tkachuk. All three of them are on the deluxe edition.
What?
And I think that's kind of cool.
That is very cool.
I think it's funny that they have Keith in like playing shape and uniform and everything. They didn't just do like this is the dad.
That's the thing, because Keith Tkachuk gets a lot of airtime these days.
Yeah.
We know what he looks like currently. All right. I like that. I like the Kachucks across the board. How do you feel about it, Johnny?
I do too. I know, I guess I understand why there are people who are angry about it. But whether you like it or not, like him or not, hate him or love him, Matthew Tkachuk has become one of the most talked about players in the NHL over the past 3 years. And I have a hard time arguing against that. When it first came out, I said, like, is there a more influential, whether it's a good or bad way, player in the NHL in the last 3 years? Someone who's done more media, someone who's brought more attention to hockey than Matthew Tkachuk? Like, I can't name one. I really can't.
Yeah, I think that he is at the very least a face of hockey. And I think that any conversation around him now incorporates, well, a lot of it incorporates like that he's a Trump guy or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I'll remind people, and in the interest of full disclosure, I am not a Trump guy. I'll remind people that, like, whether it's boxers over the years, whether it's Ray Lewis, like a lot of star athletes have had stuff about them that we have not liked, such as, did they possibly murder somebody? You know, like it has never been if you are a star athlete, it means that you are someone who should be universally loved, or somebody who has any sort of like moral thing or whatever. Like that just is not the way it is. And I'm sure we all wish it were, but it is not. So you can kind of dismiss that out of hand right off the bat. You mentioned like doing media. As the other thing I was going to mention was that people bring up like he's not that good, or he's not like a top X player in the league.
Get out of here.
He is not a top 5 player in the league. Of course, nobody in the world thinks he's a top 5 player in the league, but he is one of the best players in the league. He's in, let's say, I want to say he's like a top 20-ish player, something like that. And if not that, even if he's a top 40 player in the league, that makes him a star player in the league. There's only so many teams in the league, and there are only so many faces of each team. And yeah, the face of the Florida Panthers is that they're just freaking loaded, but he represents a type of player that is, I don't want to completely say a dying breed, but like the obnoxious, physical, can score a bunch of goals, is going to get in your head type of thing. Like, I get it, man. Like you're talking to someone whose probably favorite player in the league generally has been Brad Marchand for a while. You know, my favorite player in the league is Leon Draisaitl, but you know what I'm talking about. Like I can't see Matthew Tkachuk on the cover of a video game and say that guy shouldn't be on there. Like if you're trying to sell video games, you get the loud, proud, obnoxious guy.
Remove politics from this. Like, is there any outrage about Matthew Tkachuk?
I mean, I think people at a certain point are tired of the Florida Panthers. I think there's a lot of people that are just like over that experience already, which I think is ridiculous and crybaby shit. But
I think you gotta keep them up. Like, someone's got to knock them down if you want.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, like, and there might be Canadians that don't like it, especially after. But that's part of what I want to bring up is that, like, first off, guys have been put on this cover for far less. Respectfully, looking at you, Tyler Zegras, and like I said, I was talking to DJ before the show. I don't think that hockey has been as relevant on a national or global scale, at least in the United States specifically, has not been as relevant since like as it was during Four Nations and the Kachucks beat the shit out of a couple of Canadians, or tried to at least. Since like TJ Oshie? Like when was the last time hockey was that relevant? Like amongst people who didn't even really care about hockey, and that is
probably when Ovi won the cup. I would say too.
Yeah, fair. Okay, that's probably up there too. Like, but like that all starts with Matthew Tkachuk. How are you going to argue that he shouldn't be on the cover? And the fact that people care so much is the reason why people hate him, and that's why he should be on the cover, because he's polarizing. It gets people talking about it.
Somebody in the chat said that I compared being a Trump supporter to being a murderer. No, I did not. I'm saying that I did not do that. I said that star athletes have been things good and bad. So the idea that a star athlete must check every box, like star athletes have not checked boxes in such insane ways, such as potentially murdering somebody, is what I'm saying. So I did not say.
I think most normal people got that.
I think okay, most people got that.
Let me actually tie this in, if I may, to a little quote from Harvey Dent. And I think this is actually very relatable, which I actually just thought of off the top of my head. But 23, I don't think anyone hated Matthew Tkachuk. I think when the Panthers went on that first, unless you're a Bruins fan, when the Panthers went on that first run, everyone was in love with the Cinderella story that they were. Matthew Tkachuk doing NBA on TNT, wearing elbow room t-shirts. He was bringing energy to South Florida. He was making the Panthers a well-known brand on that run. But where Harvey Dent comes in, you either die a hero, which the Panthers could have died after losing in that cup final, or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Isn't that the quote? That's the quote, right?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
So he lives long enough. They win 2 cups. And now all of a sudden, Matthew Tkachuk went from this hero on a Cinderella run to a villain that everyone in the NHL wants to take down. And guess what? I can't remember the last time the NHL had a villain this good at hockey. Like the Florida Panthers, they were a great story. Guess what? Now everyone better fucking bring their best because someone's got to take this team down. And I think that's where we're at in the NHL, and that's what's going to be so fun this year. Who can actually beat this Florida Panther team? Because right now, on paper, I don't see anyone that can do it. I think they're 1 year away from a three-peat. But Matthew Tkachuk is going to become, from a guy who was very loved by everybody, and he's loved in South Florida, always will be, to hated by anyone who isn't a Florida Panther fan. I think that's where we're going to head. And again, like as a person who works closely in hockey, love Matthew Tkachuk. I think his personality is amazing, that he is willing to do all these things. He's willing to go on the Kelsey Brother podcast, the Pat McAfee show, all these different outlets and promote the game that, you know, McKinnon won't do, McDavid won't do, all the best players in the league won't necessarily do. So it's great in that sense. As a New York Ranger fan, I hate Matthew Tkachuk. Are you kidding me? I fucking hate him as a Ranger fan, but I respect everything he's done for the game and for what he's brought to South Florida. Because in 2022, that team won the President's Trophy and no one gave a shit about them.
Right.
That's my rant.
No, and they're like candidates for it, of course. And if you wanted to say Kirill Kaprizov would have been a good cover, great. If you want to say the Gaudreau brothers would have been really cool, that's great.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's disrespectful that they put somebody other than the Gaudreau brothers on there, but I think that would have been really neat if they did it.
It's also something a little odd about putting the Gaudreau brothers on the cover, like trying to sell a game with their image. Like, that would have been a little odd.
And we don't know, maybe the family wouldn't have been into that.
Yeah, exactly. Like that could have gone poorly. The one that I saw that I think would have been cool was Ovi. Like that one would make a whole lot of sense.
But he's already had 2. He's already had 2.
I get that, and I think you maybe wait till he retires, and then you do like what 2K does, and they put like a Hall of Famer on like a deluxe version of the cover. You can do that as like a kind of a nod to his career. But yeah, I mean, especially with like the deluxe version being all the Tkachuks, like this is very clearly like the first family of hockey at this point.
Yes,
there's nothing you're gonna do about that, and kind of like what you're talking about, like. It'd be one thing if these people had changed as they got more relevant, they started winning more. But like, as far as I can tell, the Tkachuks have been the Tkachuks this whole time, and then and more people just started paying attention. So like you get upset if you want, but it is what it is. Like they clearly deserve this kind of acknowledgement. Because like even taking Matthew out of it, you go to like the other Tkachuks, like Keith is one of the most underrated players of all time. Brady got the lowly Ottawa Senators finally back to the playoffs. And like he was the other part of that amazing moment at Four Nations. Like I don't really know how you could sit here with a straight face and argue based off hockey reasons that they don't deserve it.
Okay, so we are all in agreement that he is a very logical cover athlete for NHL 26. I certainly think that he is. A couple of fun wrinkles, though. Not fun wrinkles, but
good point from Samantha, by the way.
What's that?
In the chat. Samantha in the chat. Good point, too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, people hate, like, the fact that people are talking about it. She said that y'all are having this conversation, exactly why they put him on the cover. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, respectfully, this is not a conversation if Kaprizov's on the cover, even if Draisaitl's on the cover. And I don't think, and we certainly saw it with Trevor Zegras being on there, it's not here is who is the best player in the league right now. Because then that would be boring, and it would be one of 3 people every year, and realistically, every time it wasn't Connor McDavid, we'd be like, well, that's kind of stupid. It should be McDavid again.
Trevor Zegras was on the cover.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like as has been established, it's not an MVP award. We're making a freaking
Popularity.
video game. What's exciting right now? Matthew Tkachuk, always exciting.
We all silly like the mayor.